What's going on, y'all? My name is Church. Welcome to the Lyric House podcast slash YouTube slash Instagram slash.
Todo eso.
Let me tell you about it. I got love for you, and don't you ever doubt it. I know you got a dream, so how you wanna live? Bought a house on the hill with a room for the kids. Swear to God, it's my job, get in line, man, I'm on it. Soaring down on the cloud, and I'm proud, so I flaunt it. Let me cater to you, that's my destiny. Blessed to be, cause you never had to mess with me. It's alright. It's alright.
So my guest today is Witness, MC from Chicago, one of my longtime friends, somebody that I seen grow up from ABC rhymes to
Facts.
hardcore lyricist.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you know you are, bro. It's okay. I can say it for you. You don't have to say it.
Yeah.
All right, so my first question, and I might know the answer to this, but where was your first performance at?
So it all really depends on what you mean by first performance, right? So my first freestyle was at my house, my birthday party, and I have footage of it. I have it to this day because one day I'm gonna do something like, look guys, where I started at, and I was rapping about being a kangaroo and how high I could jump and play basketball. It was trash, but it was dope though because it was a real freestyle. It was a real freestyle too.
That's
like,
for the VH1.
yeah, like off the top, like there was no, you know what I mean. But my first performance was with you guys. That it was on North Avenue in Kedzie, that church right there by the gas station. It's like some Jehovah Witness
Or the Pentecostal
building,
church.
something, yeah. And you
yeah.
guys were all on stage killing it, bro. It was a b-boy battle that night too. And then you went up and you're like, yo, all the MCs, if you rap, come up here. And I'm like, I can rap. And he said, anybody. And I distinctly remember, I'm like, dang, what am I gonna rap about, bro? And some dude went up, I don't know who it was. Then you went up. And after you went, you like looked at me, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go there. And I did, and I didn't really have my voice yet. My voice was super high pitched and cracky, bro. It was lit though. Like I remember the crowd was like, oh, you know. And back then I was writing verses that had a punchline every 4 bars. So like I would have a setup, punch, setup, punch, because that's just what I did. But that was my first performance, and then like my first battle was at Bethesda. It was a Christmas thing, but it wasn't even a battle. We were just freestyling. But then like dude tried to play me, and I was like, nah, I can't let that go down. I'm new here, and don't nobody know me. And it was mid-round, like we were just going. I just jumped in mid-round. I said a couple little things that pertain to what he was wearing and how he spun around a certain way. And then it was all love after that. But it was definitely with you guys. It was a b-boy battle. You, Eddie, Enoch.
When you started doing original music, actually, writing everything down, recording and everything, what was your most like memorable performance?
Man, the craziest performance for me happened. I jumped in like guerrilla warfare, right? Like I didn't get training. I didn't have any like how to rap classes. I just watched you guys, and I was like, what are they doing? Can I do that? What can they do different? Or what were they doing that I can do different so they don't think I'm trying to copy them? And I remember we did a show. It was you guys, and then you guys had me open for you. And my braces broke in the middle of my verse.
Eesh. And
my wire popped and was stabbing me in my cheek. So I literally froze for like 2 seconds, and I remember the show before that. That was a Saturday. We had a show Friday, and you guys were arguing about something, and you're like, no, always finish your verse no matter what. And I'm like, I gotta finish my verse.
Oh man, yeah.
And I just started freestyling the rest of the song, but like through the pain, because I was like, this hurts so bad, bro. And this is when braces were metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like the wire actually came out, was just stabbing me in the cheek, and I'm like, I gotta finish the verse. So I just freestyled the whole thing, and then afterwards, my mouth was all bloody. I was spitting out blood. It was terrible, man.
I just want to apologize to my dentist for all the complaining I'm doing right now about my Invisalign. I'm sorry.
That was crazy.
Eesh.
And then another performance that I did that was really important to me was I have the privilege of performing at places where Christians really don't perform. So I get to do clubs, I get to do festivals, I get to do stuff like that. And I don't want to. I can't really pick one, but those are my favorite, man. Because like we did a show in Berwyn, and we were the only Latinos performing that night, and you know, I'm not a trapper rapper. I'm not a. That's not what I do. I just tell stories, and I write songs about my wife. That's what I do. And I was performing a specific song with my wife, with my boy Darius, and our whole team, our drummer, our piano player, our conguero, like our whole squad was there, and like we completely changed the atmosphere of that club that night. And you can see it, and it was a showcase. So there was judges, and you could see it on their faces, like they all lit up and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, we're the only ones rapping about Jesus. We're the only ones rapping about how much we love our wives, and like they love it. It's lit, and everyone else is talking about how many hoes they got, how many guns, how much drug. You know, like they could care less. You know what I mean? So it just showed me like content is real, content is necessary. You can finesse all you want. You could, and I'm not saying these dudes are faking. I'm just saying, if you talking about shooting people, you probably don't want to rap about that because then they can track it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, like, content is real, and like it was awesome in a world, in like the world that we are in now, where music is, hey, like content won that night. Not even me, just content won that night. So that was really dope for me.
So let me ask you a question that we were, me and my brother were debating about this the other day. How do you feel that most of the big rappers in the game right now are all married? All the big artists are married, and they're not afraid to say they're married. Like, how do you feel about that?
So I have two thoughts, maybe two and a half. So, one, we have to remember that social media didn't exist back then, right? So only way you knew someone was married is if you saw them out together.
And you didn't know that was their wife or not.
Yeah, you just did it. You're like, man, that's maybe the chick of the week or something. I don't know. The first rapper I saw do that was Will Smith. Will Smith always had his first wife with him, and then he had Jada Pinkett with him.
My favorite rapper, by the way, guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can hear Will Smith in my lyrics, bro. You can definitely hear it. That was just huge to me because one, I come from a community where marriage isn't dope. Like marriage isn't the vibe. You know what I mean? Only people I knew married was my mom and dad. I didn't know anybody else married, and I was like, man. So I never even thought about that. And then when I saw Will Smith was married, I'm like, yo, I could do that, maybe. You know, if I find the right woman. And he got clowned for it in the beginning. Like, people would take shots, not at him per se, but the idea of, I'm not getting married, I'm gonna sleep with whoever I want. You know what I mean? And I feel like those rappers who were saying that are now 40, 50, close to 60 years old. Boy, you are not going out and smashing all these women. You're going home to your wife. And I feel like now, especially the climate that we're in now, there's a split. There's these dudes who are like making women into objects, and then these dudes who are putting their women on platforms. And you can do both if you're honest, right? Like Offset, before he was married, he was, I'm doing this, I'm doing it. Now he's married. Like, nope, Cardi B's my wife. That's my wife. She'll shoot you. She really will, you know? And I just feel like, to me, that's kind of what happened. Like, Jay-Z was like, yo, I'm going to be with Beyonce. You know what I mean? And now we have social media. So now you can't go around tricking and doing all the stuff you could do. Like, you can't. You're going to get caught. So it's be with the girl that's been down with you from the beginning. Like LL's been with his wife since high school.
Forever, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the real world, you're married, I'm married. Who do you want with you? Let's be honest, right? Who do you want with you? Someone who's going to be with you because of what you have, or someone who's going to love you, right? I get to wake up to a woman that loves me no matter how foul I am. And that's not an excuse to be wild, but it's like, no matter how flawed I am, no matter what kind of insecurities I have, no matter how I've hurt her, or I haven't, you know, stewarded our relationship the correct way, or I've led her astray a little bit, like, my wife still loves me for me. And like, you can't buy that. You can't. And I'm not saying you can't go to a club and get that. I'm just saying these dudes, that's probably not the move. That's probably not.
They're not going to the club to look for relationship and companionship and love and security and everything like that. I just watched the interview today with Will and Martin.
Lewis, yeah.
And it's for the Breakfast Club, I think. And Will were talking about all his insecurities as a married man you're Will Smith, you're the Fresh Prince, but you were talking about the
But that's Tupac though. You know what I mean?
Oh, you seen it? You
Yeah,
seen
I'm
the
watching it
interview?
today. Like,
Oh man, I was like, this brother just took my love for him to a whole
Yeah,
different level
yeah.
because I could respect that, and I remember being in a relationship younger and having those insecurities.
facts. Let's be honest, right? God created us, right? God painted us, right? So that means, like, we're art, and I just have a hard time. People are like, oh, I'm not gonna look. You kind of can't help it. Now, staring and
It's
looking are
it's
two
how
different
you
things.
look,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
it's two different things,
You
bro.
ever read Every Man's Battle?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
bouncing your eyes
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's the, are you gonna look to like she's a beautiful woman, or are you gonna look like, damn, I want to tear that up?
No, yeah, and see, and that's what I
Like-
was about to say. Like, I'm super blessed, bro. So I learned very early, very early after watching 8 Mile, that if you put all your issues up, no one could tell you anything. What are they gonna tell you? You can't tell me something
That
about
movie
myself.
Movie had hidden Disney messages
No,
that
no,
nobody's
facts,
seen.
bro. You know, so like I remember being in high school and just being, this is who I am, bro. This is what it is. This is who I am. And I remember my wife, before she was my wife, she was very like attracted to me, but not to me, but to like the vibe that I was giving off. And she thought I was a lot older than I was. Like I was 17, my wife was 21 when we started dating. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, no, facts, bro. And it's like, and it wasn't because I was mature, because I definitely wasn't. You know what I mean? But I was just very vocal about my wrestles and my struggles and my downfalls and my flaws, because I knew, especially growing up in a neighborhood where that's how women tore you down. Oh, you ain't nothing. You ain't got no job. You ain't never gonna make it. Well, if I already put those things on the forefront, you can't hurt me with that. You know what I mean? Like, you
Exactly.
can't. Like, what are you gonna tell me? I know. I'm 17. I don't have a job. You know, like,
Yes, I'm the scrub
yeah, like
sitting in my guy's car.
yeah, like I
But do
know
you like me?
Yeah, I know that already, and that's worked out very well for me because I've been able to put that in my music from day one. Like anyone that listens to any music, wherever you jumped in, listening to me, you'll always hear that it's me. And anyone who knows me in real life knows that I've never, if I pretended to be anything, I've pretended to be nicer than I am, to build up being nicer than I am. I want to be nicer than I am. You know what I mean? So, but I've always been authentic, bro. I've always been a big believer in you are who you are, and I can tell if you're lying, so just tell the truth. And I just always felt that. So, like, I've always been like that. I've always been 100. And my wife, she'll tell you, like, she don't, like, my son asks my wife, why do you always believe Papi? And my wife's like, because he's never given me a reason not to. So my son's like, well, if Papi tells you he went to the moon, my wife goes, well, I know he didn't go there, but I believe that he believed he did. You know what I mean? Like, so
I
it's
believe
like,
Papi's crazy.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Like, so it's just being who you are, man. And that's why I love that interview today, because these dudes were talking about tearing down characters that they made for themselves. And like, I just am blessed that I've only really made two: a violent dude and then a dude who wants to pretend to be nice. So those are the ones I'm working on now. Like, I'm just trying to be nicer to people. I'm trying to be nicer to people. I'm not very successful yet, but I am trying. I am definitely trying to be better in that, because I have kids, man. My daughter walks like me. Not because I taught her that. I have a torn ligament in my foot. That's why I walk the way I walk. My daughter walks like me.
You're the little pimp.
Yeah, no, and she walks like me because I am the model, right? So it's like, you know, I heard my kids say some bad words the other day, and I'm like, where'd you hear that from? My mom asked them where you hear that from. They all pointed at me, and I'm like, dang, okay, I gotta work on that. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just
Yeah, they
little
pick
steps.
up every little.
Yeah, just little steps, man. Nobody's perfect, but it's just, you know, understanding what you are, who you are, and knowing what you are, man. Like, being honest with yourself. You can lie to everybody else, but be real with you, man.
Yeah, that's really it's hard. It's a
Yeah.
big it's a process, and it's man, it's a struggle. Me shooting weddings, I had to stop being the cool guy. Like, I had to stop being the dude
I imagine.
that, I had to switch, which was like impossible to me, switch from being the artist, and the rapper. There was on stage, and there was a gap between me and you to a people person.
Yeah.
And I had to get friendly, and I had to joke around, and I had to talk to people, and I was like, but I don't like people.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't know you, I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
Type thing. Like, I used to get off stage, don't ask me for an autograph. I don't want to give you. I don't want to take a picture. Like, sorry, and they used to, I shot a wedding for a lady who I used to perform at her church. And the first thing she told me, she's like, oh my God, you're so fun and you're so energetic and everything. She's like, everybody thought you were this cocky bastard that was full of yourself. And I was like, no, I was just shy and I didn't like people, you know, and they were just,
no, and
my own
Malachi
insecurity.
Church Ill was your character, bro. Like, you were up there, not pretending, but like living a personality trait that you didn't necessarily have. So, and on stage, you can be who you want to be, bro.
And you don't have to let people in.
Yeah, on stage, you can be whoever you want to be. So, I understand. I definitely get it.
What goes into your writing process? Like, how do you draw that line of expressing yourself and letting people in, but, you being you at the same time? So, how do you go about that process?
So, for me, man, I just understand what I am and who I am. I am very emotional. Not afraid to say it. So I know that's where I live at, right? So I'll put on a beat, I'll listen to it, and I'll get the vibe of what the beat is telling me. Very rarely do I go in saying, okay, here's what I want to do. I have done that, but very rarely does that happen. I kind of sit there, listen to the music, and go, I bet, what is this telling me? And then anyone who listens to my music, most of my music is emotional music anyways. Like everything in there. Even you said you like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman came from a place of, man, I am tired of being taken advantage of, and I'm frustrated because if you knew who I really was, you wouldn't be talking to me this way. Not because I'll do something to you, but because you wouldn't want me to go back, all the way back to where I was. Like, if you're really for me, you want to see me progress. You don't want to push me back to a place that I don't want to be. And that's why I said that line. I was like, it was just a dream. Oh my gosh. But basically, I'm like, family full of Latin kings. I'm looking for that gun to grab, and it's like, that was what was presented to me, and that's what I was supposed to go into, and that's what I'm running from. Like, I'm running from the urge to lash out. I'm running from the urge to just be crazy. I'm running from the urge of that, and please don't push me back there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like that's where that's the kind of stance I take on all my music. Like, I'm coming from a place, and I'm just sharing my pain with you. I'm sharing my struggles with you and my flaws and all my insecurities, so that you can be like, hey, I'm not the only one dealing with that, but also so you can be like, hey, leave that man alone. Like, leave him alone. Like, don't bother him. He's just trying to be cool, man. He's trying to be cool. Let him be cool.
Trying to make music for the world to vibe to.
Yeah, like, don't bother me, man.
Thank you for watching part 1 of the Chicago Ill Artist podcast with Hector Witness Dominguez. Stay tuned next week for part 2 of our great interview.